Good evening, folks. Merry Christmas. Well, it's not quite Christmas yet. It's Christmas in 2 days' time, but we're near enough anyway. Yeah, you'll be getting sick of the sight of me. I did actually say I wasn't going to do a live Friday Waffle because I'm going to be back tomorrow night for my traditional video with On Boys post. We'll be along at 9:30, and we're going to be telling you our 12 favourite moments from Christmas past. So there you go, get that in your diaries. So yeah, I say it every week. This is going to be a shorter than normal Friday Waffle. You know what? I'm sitting here watching my intro, thinking I've not got any script. I feel like a stand-up comedian going on to stage with no jokes, no material at all. So yeah, if there's anything you want me to talk about, please put that in the comment section down below. So anyway, listen, thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm surely there's better things to be doing than watching this shite, like watching some Christmas films. I've actually watched only one Christmas film so far, and it was Scrooged. I went to the pictures to see that. God, that sounds old. The pictures. If you said that to a kid, they'd be like, "What? You went to the pictures?" That's what we called it, though. Never mind the cinema bollocks. It was the pictures. So yeah, I went to the pictures to see it back in 1988, I think it was. So yeah, too many handhelds. Absolutely, you can never get too many handhelds. Um, What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. No idea what I was going to say. Ian saying there, you mentioned the other week you would do a video on World War Three games. That would be good, I reckon. Yeah, you know what, Ian? I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I'm conscious of not. It was it. Sorry, man. It was Scrooge with a D at the end. The one with Bill Murray. It's actually really really funny. It was way better than I remember it to be. I remember coming out being a bit disappointed, but it's a really really good one. Evening, Steve. Um, yeah, I'm conscious of lack of videos other than doing live streams all the time, and live streams are fun, but they generally it's me making a complete tit of myself, trying to get an emulator working, not being very good at a game, and basically fanning about. And we usually end up the computer crashes at some point as well. So that's kind of the sort of the makeup of my live streams. And I do need to get back to making videos. I keep saying it and I keep saying it, and I keep doing nothing about it. But trust me, that's my New Year's resolution. I want to that and learn to play the guitar. So there you go. There you go. LFC. He still calls it the pictures. There must be a reason. There must have been a reason why they called it the pictures rather than the cinema. Now, this is not going to be a Christmassy themed video because I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. This is just going to be a bog standard Friday waffle. So anyway, there's Dell. Good stuff, Dell. I have a question for you later. Can you remember what your first car registration plate? Oh man, that's a cracking question. Well, actually, you know what? Oh fuck, I'm trying to. You know what? I do have a photograph of it somewhere. I remember my dad. My dad did take a picture of it. It was a Mark II Escort, but it was kind of converted. The guy had done a kind of botched job of turning it into an RS 2000 lookalike. Let's see if I can find what a Ford RS 2000, Ford Escort RS 2000. Let's see if it comes up with any pictures. Yeah, there you go. That's something like that. Can I move that across there? Let's just share the screen for a second. Da-da-da-da-dum. Tum-pa-tum-pa-tum-pa-tum. Share screen, entire screen, window. I'm just looking at all these different options. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That was an RS 2000. I would kill to have one of these now. Bloody hell. Yeah, mine's was burnt orange. Have you ever seen these Binatone TV games? They're not orange. They're orange, fucking orange. They're like orange times 10. That's exactly what my RS 2000. Now I only had it for about I don't know. I had it for about 2 weeks, and here's the reason. I took it. My dad says we need to get it serviced. So my dad knew a mechanic. We took it along. Says, right, can we leave it with you, please? And we left it. And then about half an hour later, he phones my dad up and says, "Listen, I'm not going to service it. It's not worth it." I mean, what do you mean? He says, "You might want to come back and have a look." So we went back, lifted up one of the mats in the back, and there was a big fucking hole. You could actually see the ground. Um, this was back in the day. This was back in the day when, I mean, even now, I know absolutely nothing about cars. I mean, I when I go to look at a car, I kick the tires as you do. I lift the bonnet and I kind of look at it and go, "Yep, check the oil, whatever." And that's about it. And so I bought that car. I never thought to look under the seat, look under a mat to see if there was going to be a big hole in it. But yeah, fortunately, I mean, I paid £550 for it. One of my mates, Axeman 3D, actually, who does watch my channel. Kenny, as his name is, he offered to buy it off me, even though he knew that there was a hole in the boot or a hole in the back. So yeah, I sold it to him for 550 quid. I was actually gutted because it was like mega sporty looking at big fuck off wheel tires and wheel tires, big fuck off tires. Looked, it was like Formula One tires, really smart. Um, and so I was gutted. I was gutted to kind of not have it any longer. But yeah, I think if I remember rightly, I think somebody actually stole it outside Kenny's house. So getting back to what was the registration plate, I have not got the foggiest style because I said I will had it for about a week. Um, oh man, I'm terrible with registration plates. Nah, I cannot for the life of me remember. My mum always used to give me a trick to remember registration plates. She always said, the first three letters, think of uh think of a word with each letter. And that made it easier. But I can't. I have had so many cars over the time. Can't remember it, but I tell you, I would love to have that. I would love to have that bloody car back again. Martroid, evening, Squire. Hey Al, that new terrestrial game looks pretty good. Have you seen that yet? Terrestrial. I've not, Martroid. What kind of game is it? Well, in fact, let me have a quick little squintle. See, this is the wonderful thing about doing live waffles. You can, you know, you're getting to listen to as it happens. Terrestrial game. Terrain. Ah. All right. Nice. Right. It's a game for the Commodore 64. That does look really nice. Wow. Oh, you know what? Let me. Yeah, that does look nice. I'll just share the screen actually. There you go. That does look quite funky. I mean, this screen down here does look very kind of beach heady. This one here is obviously Buck Rogers. Ah, that is taken straight from Raid Over Moscow. Hang on a minute, that's Cabal. Was that part of it as well? That does look. Oh, and of course it's got the graphics. I mean, the graphics are excellent. By the ever wonderful Mr. Trevor Story. I don't know if Trevor's in tonight. He does. He generally does pop in. These look excellent. I'll need to have a look at that. You know what? I really need to kind of stay on top of modern stuff because I don't really consider I'm a. Take care, Matroid. Cheers, buddy. Battery. Yeah, that's a first world problem. Battery's about to die. Um, excuse me. Yeah, what was I going to talk about? Can't remember. But aye, that looks excellent. Yeah, I'm never ever up to date. I always find out about these about modern games or new games coming out when you guys mention them. I don't really, I never sort of really have a look to see. Oh, let's have a look and see if there's any game coming out. But I really should. Evening calls. We'll have a quick squint to see who we've actually got in tonight. We've got Alex. Good evening, Alex. We've got Stream Elements Bot. Now that's a new thing. I don't know where he came from. I don't quite know what he actually does because we still get porn links and what have you. Nothing wrong with a good porn link. Ian Batchelor, good evening, Ian. Martroid, well, Martroid's just clocked out. We've got LFC, we've got Mark, we've got Mr. Games Made of Cardboard. Ian Batchelor, we've got Steve, we've got Dale, Ian Hunter. Good evening, Ian. Season's greeting, everyone. Evening, all. Thank you very much, buddy. Yeah, excellent. Now, I think I did. I think I think, did I see a question from Evening Cauldron? How are you, mate? Not seen you about for a wee bit. I thought I saw a question from Ian. Possibly not. But getting back to Ian Batchelor's comment about doing World War Three video, I will try and get that done. I really, really, really need to get my arse into gear and start putting out other videos besides live streams. So anyway, this week, what have I been doing? I finished up from work yesterday afternoon. Don't go back until the 4th of January, which is good. That's a decent break. I mean, I don't like Christmas. I mean, I do like Christmas, but it's after Christmas is finished, then I hate that. I always feel it's really depressing. But I do like the fact that I'm not at work. That's always a bonus. And the big thing as well is on Wednesday this week, that was the shortest day. So we're now into it's going to start getting lighter at nights. Hooray! Mr. Hunt, in fact, it wasn't a question. It was Ian's first car was a Hillman Minx. Brilliant. Awesome. A Fiat Strada. No, Hillman Minx. I like the sound of that. Yeah. Only better by the Ford Totty. That would be nice. I'll not make any puns about getting to ride one of these. But anyway, moving swiftly on. Evening, Zap Paul. I treated myself to an N64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time for Christmas. Funny, I was at the computer club on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I'll tell you, you've never seen as many calories consumed in an evening than when you go to the Christmas computer club Christmas do. I deliberately didn't have anything to eat, before I went out because it's just there's Krispy Kreme donuts, there's crisps, there's Pringles, there's a big box of Quality Street. It's just billions of calories. So I absolutely stuffed my face. I think I had about 4 donuts. Which is just bloody insane. But yeah, I was at the computer club on Tuesday, and who was it? Was somebody mentioned it? Somebody mentioned N64, and that I'm one of these people when I tend to hoard stuff. When I buy something and then I think, right, I need to get rid of it. I think to myself, well, and I was actually talking about that last night to a friend. When you come to sell something, you think, right, I'll get rid of something that I'll get rid of whatever it is, and I'm going to get 150 quid for it. And then you think to yourself, when I sell that for 150 quid, within 2 weeks, that £150 is gone. But whatever it is you sold, that computer that you sold to get said money, that's gone. Whereas if you don't sell something, you've still got this. And that's what kind of stops me selling stuff. I think to myself, unless somebody was going to give you like £500 for something, that's fine. You're getting rid of something and you're getting a lot back. But when you're getting back like maybe 100 quid, 200 quid, I suppose unless you were going to save it, specifically save it and put it towards something else, then that's why I end up kind of hanging on to stuff. Anyway, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is it's very, very rare that I will get rid of a machine because I don't want it. I think there's only been 2 machines that I've got rid of because I didn't want them. One was Commodore 128, and the reason I got rid of it was it was kind of faulty, but I realised that I don't think I could have. Well, it was faulty, so it was going. I was never going to keep it. But am I right in thinking you couldn't use the Commodore? What do you call it? What the hell's the cartridge called? I can't remember the name of the bloody cartridge that I've got for it. Oh fuck! It's one of these wonderful cartridges. I've completely forgot what it's called. It might have been that I couldn't use that with it, but it was certainly faulty, so I got rid of it. But the only other machine that I bought and I even bought a, what do you call it, one of these EverDrive cartridges for it. It was the N64. I bought it, and you know what? I never ever used it. And it actually annoyed me that I had it. I thought to myself, what's the purpose of having this? I'm never going to play it. I don't know what it is. Well, I kind of do know what it is. It's not so much the games, it's the fact that I absolutely detest the controller. I think it's a horrible, horrible, cheap plastic controller. I mean, the GameCube controller was, in my opinion, one of the best controllers ever. It's a brilliant controller, and that was like the machine that came out after the N64. But the N64 one, I mean, you had that horrible little, even the way you held it, it was like cheap plastic. The little yellow joystick nub, whatever the hell you want to call it, it was just so cheap. Now, normally, you know, Nintendo put out quality things, but this was just crap. So the controller annoyed me, but the games itself, I had no, other than probably Mario 64. I mean, even Mario, what you call it, Super Mario Kart, I wasn't a big fan of. I did buy that. That was one that I did buy, but I wasn't a big fan. I think I still prefer the original. So I decided to sell it. I mean, I had the EverDrive cartridge and I sold it because I thought I don't actually like it. I do, however, play it now, not very often, because I mean I can play it on my Steam Deck, and it looks better than it did back in the day. So yeah, but anyway, not to knock excuse me, not to knock Zap Paul's N64. Yeah, I just, even the graphics for like the Zelda games, yeah, no, I don't like them. I really think that and I've said this loads of times, the first generation, what were they, 16-bit, 32-bit? Aye, they were six. No, but they 32-bit. I can't bloody remember. Anyway, yeah, the PlayStation. Yeah, they were 32-bit. The PlayStation, Dreamcast to a lesser extent, and that's because of the games. And the N64, I just think the polygons, that was like the first sort of incarnation of polygons. I mean, you look at something like what do you call it, GoldenEye on the N64. It's ugly as fuck. It really is. I mean, let's have a look. Let's try and find GoldenEye N64. It's just, it's so ugly. I rest my case, Your Honour. Yeah, I mean that looked it looked cutting edge back then. Yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking it because I know that was incredible back then, but I really don't think it's aged at all particularly well, and it's the same with the it's the same with the, what you call it. Ah, dear, wait a minute. I saw another one a second ago. Hang on. Is that him doing a piss? Wait a minute. Where is he? Yeah, there's Jaws. Look at him. Rah! Oh, bollocks. Hang on. What the hell happened there? Right, we don't want that. Yeah. It's always obviously the technology that they had back then. It was blocky. It was like blocks, and they just like superimposed the face on. Oh, is that clown? I don't know what the hell that is. Jesus. But yeah, I just think. I mean, look, come on, seriously, that looks like Noel Gallagher. Yeah, it hasn't aged at all well. I'm not knocking. I'm not saying that the game's not good fun to play. I never really got into it. Yeah, fantastic. I'm just scrolling down the. Yep, Mr. Games is asking, do you find it weird that NES to N64 was only about 10 years? Was it? So we had, what did we have? We had the NES, then we had the Super Nintendo, and then we had the. Yeah, so I mean that. Yeah, so it was 10 years from when the NES came out to when the N64 came out. I mean, I suppose that means each system had about 5 years, which is all right, I think. I mean, the NES, if that had, I don't know when the SNES came out, but yeah, 10 years you had two systems. So if you kind of average it out, each system was kind of around for about 5 years. That's not bad. You look at things now. I mean, the PlayStation 5. Well, then again, when did the PlayStation 5 come out? It probably came out about, is it 2 years ago now? And I think, ironically, I think it's still difficult to buy them. Madness. I mean, are people still paying stupid money for them? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think 10 years is actually all right. Um, you don't mind. I think 5 years is quite a good innings. Not like the old computer games. I mean, the Commodore 64 came out in, when was it? 1982, and I think the last game was probably about 1995. So I mean, that was 12 years. But now the life expectancy of a console is far shorter. I think it's only a matter of time before they upgrade the Switch. Zap Paul, that's a great way of looking at it. I missed my N64 as emulation always seemed off to me. Yeah, and that's the problem. The emulation, the N64, it wasn't good for quite a long time, which is weird because when the N64 had literally just been released, what was it? Ultra ULE, or what was it called again? That N64 emulator came out, the Super Mario emulator. So that came out right at the start of N64's life, but it took years, probably only been in the last maybe 2-3 years, that the emulation is better. It's still not perfect. I mean, I was playing one good game on there's lots of good games on the N64, I'm sure. But one game that I really did like, and I've only played under emulation, was Blast Corps. You're trying to escort a vehicle that's carrying a nuclear warhead. You've got to basically just knock stuff down. It's good fun. But yeah, emulation was a bit ropey in the early days. LFC, I've owned two N64s, mostly playing it for Super Mario 64 and GoldenEye. Yeah, never. I mean, I did buy GoldenEye, and I don't know. The music in it is excellent, I have to say. Cauldron saying, games made of cardboard, the more video games advance, the less noticeable the changes between gens are. Yeah, that's. I've only written one question down, one topic on my pad, and that is, where do we go from here? As Nick Hayward once sang, or was it Haircut 100? And it's not down to the lake, I fear. Where do we go from here? I mean, PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation 5. I've got a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got an Xbox Series X. Now the difference in graphics isn't that much. Maybe if I saw them side by side, I think the big thing, big difference, and I might be talking it a hole in my head because, like I said, I don't own a PlayStation 5. Will I ever get one? I don't know. I suppose if they came down a couple of £100, then I'd be tempted to buy one. That's the thing. I've seen a few games on the PlayStation 5, and you think, wow, that looks next gen. And a lot of the games that I play in my Xbox Series X, they don't look any different from the PlayStation 4. So the difference is getting less. There's probably, if I'm sure, if some technical person was to actually write down, or I'm sure if Sony was to say these are the specs of the PlayStation 4, these are the specs of the PlayStation 5. You've got all these additional things. There's probably oodles and oodles of things that have changed, but to somebody like me, I don't really see that much of a difference. So where do we go from here? What's the next thing? Obviously, it's going to be called a PlayStation 6. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get one for love nor money for about 10 years, unless you're prepared to pay about £2,500 on eBay. Where do we go? We can play stuff online. What is going to change? What is going to improve? One thing that I have noticed, I think, get better is the frame rate has definitely improved. I mean, see, I'm an old bloke. I still think that like the Xbox 360 looks amazing. Maybe not jaw dropping amazing like you get from I don't know. I mean, there's that demo which I showed off a while back. The Matrix Revolution. Can't remember. It's an absolutely incredible demo. I don't know. Is it just out for the? I've got it on the Xbox. It's incredible. I mean, it is. It's like wow. You know the reflections, and you're in this kind of city. You're in this city, a bit like a sort of Grand Theft Auto, and you can, whatever you see in the horizon, you can fly to. You can go right up to the window. You go into the roof of a building, a skyscraper, and you land on the roof. You can kind of go into a drone mode, and you can fly about, and the attention to detail is just, it's literally jaw dropping. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, it'd be interesting. What do you guys think? What is going to be see, games is agreeing with me. PS4, PS5, I see no difference. I'm sure if you saw them side by side, you might notice it, but I don't know. Go and do me a wee favour, guys. See, when you type a question, can you put 3 stars? Could you maybe retype it if you don't mind? Put 3 asterisks in front of it, just so I can kind of see it, to save me kind of having to kind of go through. Ox is saying there, you're going to see massive changes in speed and capability when optical CPUs take off. See, I don't even know what an optical CPU is. One thing that one thing that you do notice, or at least I notice with more modern systems, is games like the characters move faster. In games, they were always a wee bit sluggish. I mean, you look at like even Grand Theft Auto 5, whatever. It does kind of look quite sluggish looking, whereas in real life, when somebody's moving, it's a lot quicker. It's a lot more responsive. There's no delays, whereas you get that. So I think with modern systems using using faster processes, then it's maybe going to get any better. Is that going to improve video games for people like us? I don't think so. And that's why I play very little modern games, because technology is kind of lost in me now. It really is. Yeah, obviously you've got VR. Yeah, long and short of it, I did mention about my Facebook account got hacked a couple of weeks ago. They subsequently deactivated the account. I lost 16 years worth of Facebook. Then they told me you're going to lose your Meta account. You're going to lose access to your Oculus Quest because you can't get into Facebook. And 2 or 3 weeks went by talking to the Oculus Quest support team, and they fannied about and says, yeah, our engineers are looking into it and blah, 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 blah. I got that bored. I created a new account, downloaded a pirate app, and put lots of pirate games on my system. However, they've now finally resolved that I can now access my account officially, and they gave me 50 quid compensation, which is all right. If any of you guys have a problem getting into your Oculus Quest, if you have any problems, let me know and I'll tell you how I went about getting round. But like I said, it took about 3 weeks. It took about 3 weeks for them to kind of fix it, which was a bit shit. And by that point, I'd already downloaded the games for free. But yeah, I am enjoying playing the Oculus Quest again. It's people that say it's a gimmick, they've never played one. Games is saying there, when I was growing up, games were considered super nerdy. Seems like it's done a complete 180. I was exactly the same. And again, I mean, I'm an old fart. I'm like your old granddad that comes to your house at Christmas time. I tell you the same stories over and over again. When you've been waffling as long as I've been waffling, you've ran out of stuff to talk about, so you repeat the things. Um, Good evening, Tony. How are you, mate? Yeah, what did I have? I had a PC and I decided, right, I want to get a SNES. I'd been watching Games Master. Um, you know, every time I saw like Super Mario Kart and what do you call it, Pilot Wings getting played, I just thought, I just thought, what do you call it? It would be, yeah, it'd be excellent to own one. So I went to, what was it called? It wasn't Maplin. Oh, Radio Shack. That's it. Radio Shack. Did anyone remember that? It was a super nerdy kind of. It was one of these shops that sold like transistors and fuses and God knows what else. Um, yeah, but they also sold it for some weird reason. No, it was. I'm sure. No, oh, it might have been Tandy. It might have been Tandy actually. I'm trying to remember. Um, I think it was Tandy. Now you mention it, I'm sure it was Tandy. Very, very similar type of game. Anyway, I went into the shop and I was too embarrassed. I mean, I would be what 92. Oh Christ Almighty, what would I be? 28, something like that. 20, aye, something like that. 20 years old. So I was basically growing up. I was a man at that point, playing bloody games. Um, So anyway, I went into Tandy and I said, I'm looking for, and I deliberately said it wrong. I'm looking for, is it a Sega Nintendo, something like that? I said it's my nephew. He's wanting this Sega Nintendo thing, and the guy going, well, it's either the Sega Mega Drive or the Nintendo Super Nintendo. Now we don't sell the Sega Mega Drive. I went, oh right, so it's the Nintendo, right? Okay, so what does it do? Does it come with a keyboard? And the guy's like, no, it's a gaming console. Gaming console. So what does that mean? You can only play games. I went, right, okay. I says, right, listen, get, I'll take it. I'll take it. So I bought a SNES and I pretended I was buying it for a non-existent nephew because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be a gamer. I always remember years ago, and again, this is another one that it's another one that I've told multiple times. Picture the scene, 1986. I'm at work, and I used to work in the wages department, and I went into the accounts department. Now I had a thing for Antoinette, who worked in the accounts. We're both about 17 years old. Antoinette was lovely, and I was sitting next to Antoinette, and I was looking at some file, whatever it was, and there was a guy who is much older than me. I mean, he would probably be, I don't know, he would probably be easily 10 years older than me, and we used to. He, I don't know how it came about, but I got to find out that he had a Commodore 64, and we used to swap games. And I remember, I remember sitting in the accounts trying to talk to Antoinette, and this guy came in. Bill came in. He went, "Oh, hi, Alan." He says, "I've got a couple of tapes for you. I've got ER Kung Fu, and I've got Jet Set Willie." And yeah, he started mouthing off all these games, and he handed me these computer games in front of Antoinette, and I just wanted to kind of shrink away, and I just wanted the ground to swallow me up. I did, however, go on to date Antoinette for a couple of weeks, and then she finished with me. So maybe these games scarred her. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, there we go. That's my story of being ousted as a nerd. Just finished work, guys, and on the whiskey, good stuff, mate. I should really. I mean, I've got a bottle of water. I've got a couple of bottles of cider, but I think I'm going to keep that for tomorrow night. Right, let me have a wee look. I'm just going to. How are we doing for time? 40 minutes. Jesus, I've hardly even started. Alex's first job was in Tandy. Yeah, like I said, if you wouldn't mind retyping your question. I don't know if anyone's actually done that. No, I don't think you have. Yep, Games Mini Cardboard. He's saying Games Master is so rad. I got a tattoo of Dave Perry a few years back. Just, you know what? You can actually take that two different ways. I read that and I actually thought you'd got a tattoo of Dave Perry on your arm, but I've just read it there and I now understand that what you mean is Dave Perry physically gave you a tattoo. You know what? Like everybody else, back in the Games Master days, we all thought Dave was a complete wanker. Really did. He was arrogant. He was big headed. He just, he was bloody good at games, but he was just nobody likes a big head. But I got to do an interview with Dave. I contacted him on Facebook maybe about 3 years ago, and yeah, I'm going to actually see if I can find it. Let's. In fact, Dell, could you maybe have a quick look for my Dave Perry interview? Let me see if I can find it. Hang on, Dave Perry. There we go. Games Animal. um, yeah, let me just. Na, na, na. Oh, that was the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, this was. When did I do this? 2 years ago. Very echoey, but anyway. Yeah, Dave Perry. You know what? After that interview, I realised he was an absolute top bloke, and the whole Games Master, episode, the Christmas edition of Games Master on season 6, he was set up. They deliberately set it up to make him look like a twat, and it's brilliant. Now, when I interviewed Dominic Diamond many many moons ago, Dominic did admit that he was ashamed of how they treated Dave Perry, and yeah, Dave was just wanting. He was wanting to take video games out of being a nerdy hobby, and he wanted a face, as he said. You think of music, you think of David Bowie, you think of, I don't know, Mick Jagger, whatever. You think of films, I suppose you would say Dirk Bogart, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. You think of video games. Nobody, absolutely nobody. So Dave Perry wanted to kind of be the face of games, and I respect him for what he actually tried to do. Um, so yeah, no, Dave is a good bloke. And then he came into my 12-hour live stream, which I did about 3 years ago. He took part, and I think he also gave me 30 quid for charity, which was fantastic. Right, I'm just jumping all over the place here at the moment. All right, I'm just going to. Right, Ian Hunter is asking one here. Hey guys, which was best, expensive 1541 drive or tape turbo loader? If I'll just put that up on the screen. The 1541 was ridiculously slow. It was seriously slow for a disk drive. It was just ridiculous. Apparently, it read it twice or something, and that was why it was so slow. So a turbo loader every time, Ian. A turbo loader tape would always load a lot quicker than a disc. But then they invented turbo loaders for disc, which could load games very quick. So before turbo loaders, then a turbo load tape. I mean, a bog standard disc would load faster than a bog standard tape, but a turbo loader tape would load faster than a bog standard disc. But a turbo load disc would load faster than a turbo load tape, if that makes any sense. Hopefully. Yep, Steve's saying there, 2D games never age, 3D ones age badly. Yeah, I mentioned when I was talking about the PlayStation. I mean, you play like bloody Resident Evil, not Resident Evil. What the hell do you call it? Tomb Raider. Who's trying to message me? You play Tomb Raider, and it just looks completely shit. It really does. Um, but what do you call it? Can't remember what I was talking about there. Yeah, you get like Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn, the majority of the games are 2D and they still look great. Steve says because they don't really make 2D games now, then you've never really seen you can't look at a 2D game now and go, oh wow, that looks so much better than Manic Miner because 2D games don't really get made now. And if they do make 2D games, they generally try and copy the kind of 8-bit kind of pixely look. So yeah. Cauldron still loves Mario 64. I never completed it. I know you're going to be astonished to hear that. I never ever completed Mario 64. I think the furthest I got was it was probably the underwater level. The music for that level was excellent. When you're diving down into like the shipwreck, and I'm sure there was some kind of big eel thing. That was kind of about where I got to, and then like everything else, I get bored, and yeah. Let me just have a quick look. LFC was saying the SNES, excuse me, the SNES came out 99, sorry, the SNES was around 1990, 91, and 92. Yeah, I think I got it probably about 91. It's certainly been out for quite a while. Wow, Minecraft is 15 years old now. That is just insane. It really is. There's an interesting comment by Steve. He's got a PlayStation 5 and he's honestly not impressed with that. He's seen nothing that blew me away yet. Yeah, I rest my case. So is the next generation, is that going to blow us away? Apparently there is I think the PlayStation is bringing out a new VR. Interesting to see what that's like. I mean, I did have the PlayStation VR for my PlayStation 4, but the killer for me is the cables. The cables are just a pain in the arse, complete pain in the arse. Is that Paul? Yeah, it was Ultra HLE. That was the N64. I mean, anyone that owns now, I know Del Boy. I think he owns a PlayStation 4 as well. He's got two. Would anybody say if say you had like Spider Man on the PlayStation 4, would it be worth upgrading? Something my there. Would it be worth upgrading to the PlayStation 5 version of it? What is the difference? Can anyone tell me what the differences are? They're going to be very subtle. Probably better frame rate, as I've saying. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Where do we go? I says, where are we going to go? What's the next? What's the PlayStation 6 going to bring along? Games made of cardboard again. GTA 6 might be the graphical turning point. Yeah, it's going to. There's always one company that comes along and just raises the bar. I mean, it's astonishes me when you look at some of these videos and you see what they've done with Grand Theft Auto 5. Um, I've got no interest in playing the game. Anytime I've played it, it's just to kind of drive cars, get a motorbike, drive up at the top of a hill, drive to the beach, go for a swim, get eaten by a shark, just driving about. I'm not interested in, no interest at all in actually playing the game. I just get kind of bored with it. Yeah, Dell's saying there, to me, changes between systems are less because other areas are being developed over graphics, motion control, faster load times. I have to say, that's one brilliant thing. That's one great thing. Load times is phenomenal. Now, I don't know if the PlayStation 5 has got that, but the Xbox Series X, when I switch it on, you can start a game and it'll just be like boom, instant. It's absolute instant. And it's the same with if I play that game and then I come out and go into another game and then I come out and go to that other game again, they all load instantly. So that's one good thing. That doesn't really improve the gameplay as such. It's just the initial loading time. But yeah, that is one thing I've definitely noticed. Um, Motion control. I don't know. What are your thoughts on motion control? I mean, the Wii came along, it revolutionized, it brought along a motion control. I mean, when the first time you saw that Wiimote, excuse me, it was super impressive. But then companies were using it for stupid things like opening a door, you had to go like that, or to pick up something, you go like that, and that just became boring. You don't want that. You want motion control like, I mean, the best use of motion control that I've ever seen on a Wii was Wii Sports Resort. You've got table tennis, which was absolutely brilliant, really good. In fact, I bought or a pirated a table tennis game for the Oculus Quest. Apparently, it's meant to be as good as the real thing, so I'll need to give that a wee go. Dale saying there, graphics now I feel are a back burner, and so everything appears to be moving slowly, even though processors are moving forwards. Uh, Zap Paul saying VR is probably going to take off. I have the Oculus, but it's in dire need of powerful graphics. Really, what Oculus have you got, Zap Paul? Is it the Oculus Quest, Oculus Quest 1, 2? See, I think, I mean, the graphics are good. I mean, yeah, the graphics could always be better. The fact that it's having to kind of display the graphics twice, the graphics are never going to be on a par with like a PC. Um, what one have you got? I mean, see, I think that the graphics are fine. No, the thing is, you see that, and then you a new thing comes along, and it blows it out of the water, and you're like, wow, I don't want to go back to that. Um, I see Facebook, or Meta as they're called now. They've brought out what do you call it? They've brought out a new VR, and it's was it £1,500? And yeah, seriously, I don't know what the difference is. I think Dale, I was talking to Dale a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me what the differences were, and I've completely forgotten. But it would have to be a lot better for 1,500 quid. Really, yeah. Anyway, let's. Games is saying their CGI in films is actually getting worse. Yeah, you know what? I'm just like most people. We're tired of CGI. We've seen it. It's just become boring. Adverts for for Rice Krispies, I've got CGI in them now. Let's go back to the early days when you went to see a film like Star Wars, and you knew it had all been, it was mini models and what have you, and you came away thinking that was incredible. But you never ever go to see a film now and come away thinking, wow, these CGI graphics are incredible. Because like I said, fucking car- um, cornflakes adverts have got CGI, and you've got all these, a plethora of kids films. I mean, the Toy Story films are some of the best films ever. I love the first sort of two Toy Stories, but then everybody jumped in it, and you got all this bollocks like Trolls and Minions, and yeah, I think we're all fed up of CGI. I mean, it would be interesting to know what it's like for an actor to film a film now, because you're basically acting in front of a blue screen, because 99% of it's probably going to be it's just going to be on a computer. But yeah, CGI now, I think we're all tired of it. What I should really do. See, I wish. No, no, I'm trying to just scroll through the comments. I've just copy all the Tandy comments. Da, 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 da. Right, that means absolutely nothing to me. Jaguar and N64. It is the 8th and ninth generation of the current consoles, with more. Let's get my breath. Let me try again. Anthropomorphic scale and redundancy. Oh my god, I don't know what that means. Ian Hunter saying, "Sorry guys, life of Brian is playing on the tiny TV. Always look on the bright side of life." Na, na, na. Right, Cauldron, what's he saying? You nerds talking about increased speed and frame rate. You're missing the forest through the trees. That's not noticeable to Joe Schmo. 2D to 3D is noticeable. That's my point about lack of tech leap and speed. Yeah, I was kind of like you. I mean, people went on about 50 megahertz, 60 megahertz, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. I do kind of understand it now. I do get it now. I mean, if you play any game that's less than 30 frames per second, it does look a bit shit. I know certainly for things like VR, you do want a high frame rate. I think the Quest does is at 120, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's my old eyes. I look at a modern console and I look at the console that came out before, and I'm like, really? Don't know. The thing is, the games is all you're going to get is a fucking new version of FIFA. You know what I mean? Alex has got a story about Tandy. It would annoy the hell out of me when someone would come into my Tandy store asking me to create some wiring for a set of speakers. Well, my work colleague would be selling a PC for mega commission. Yeah. Whatever happened to Tandy? I think I mean, they went out of business a long, long time ago. Um, Ox is saying there must be too much toxic masculinity in Scotland. I never gave a shite about buying games. I don't know. It was a weird one. I mean, I openly talk about video games now. I don't have any issue at all. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Yeah, games made of cardboard. These streams are great, man. Keep it up. Thank you very, very much, Manny. Anyone, some of my friends here tonight, Del Boy, etc. He makes his own content. Steve, the there is nothing better. Well, there's a few things better, obviously, but we can't talk about these. There's nothing better than hearing that somebody, even one person, actually thinks what you're doing is not shit. That you're actually, one iota entertaining. And that's quite simply why I do these. Well, I don't do it just for that reason. I do it because I enjoy it. But that's not enough. You need to know that the people that your audience are actually getting something out of what you do. And so when I get comments like that, it just makes me very, very happy. So thank you very, very much. That is very kind of you. Um, yeah, Tony, can I ask a question this evening to you, Alan? Absolutely. You fire in. Just go for it. And there's Tony saying your Friday night waffles are legendary, Alan. Well, I've been doing it for about Christ knows how long now. Fucking hell. I've been doing it now for 9, coming up for 10 years, something like that. Nonsense. Are we getting to the end? Hey, Holly. Good evening, Holly. How are you? Hope you're well. Hope you've got all your Christmas presents bought. Yeah, like Dale's saying there, if you can stick a wee asterisk in front of your comment, it just makes it kind of jump out. So when I'm scrolling down, I can have a look. Mark's saying, "Can I interview Dominic Diamond again?" I don't know. I don't know if that will happen. Um, I kind of think he's told the story of Games Master. The thing is, when I got Dominic Diamond, he was it would be what I don't know, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He'd never done any interview on social media. I mean, there was a couple of videos. I think it was like typed sort of. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing that Peter Kay thing, Blackpool. Um, yeah, it was like kind of typed. It was like text interviews, and I was kind of, as far as I was concerned, I was the first person to get Dominic Diamond on a YouTube video. Sadly, we couldn't do the actual video part. It was like sound only, because he was going to work. But yeah, he told the whole story. I mean, the stuff that he told me, it's one of my favourite interviews. I'll need to listen to it again, actually. It was hilarious, some of the stuff that he said. And then a while after that, I mean, I got Dan Wood from the Retro Hour, awesome podcast. They got in touch with me asking if I could give them some tips as to how to get in touch with Dominic Diamond, and they interviewed him. And Dominic's done lots of interviews since then. And I'll be honest, I've listened to them, and it's the same stuff. It's the same questions. He talks about the same stuff that he spoke about in my interview. And Dominic's now he's now kind of trying to get back into video games. He's got a podcast which he does. He does it for Patreon, so I think it's his kind of full time job now. So he's now making content himself, and I don't really think he's obviously done the he's obviously done the what do you call it? He's done the what do you call it? The Games Master book. And like I said, he's doing his own kind of gaming podcasts. So I don't think he would be particularly interested in coming on to another channel to talk about Games Master when he can do it in his own channel. That's just my thoughts. But I don't really think there's anything left to talk about, if that makes any sense. Don't get me wrong, if Dominic wanted to come on my channel, it would be awesome. He's an interesting guy, he really is. But no, I think that kind of ship sailed. I've kind of done it. I've ticked the box. Time to move on. Yeah. Games is saying it was rad when you interviewed John Romero. Thank you very much. I don't mind admitting that was probably the pinnacle of me kind of being in YouTube and talking about games. When I think of my humble beginnings, and I've not really gone anywhere, don't get me wrong, but when I think back to 2013, when I made my first video, my 10-minute mashup, and I played a game called Sewer Shark on the Mega CD, and I had like 3 views. Yeah, if somebody had told me in 9 years' time you're going to be at Blackpool in front of a live audience and you're going to be sitting next to John Romero, I would have told them to fuck off. I'd have thought they're taking the piss. But no, brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. And one of my sort of favorite comments that I saw on a YouTube video. The guy he said that he enjoyed the talks, and he said that the guy that done the talks, Alan Stewart, he said done a really good job, and he says he had big balls to ask to even ask John Romero. So yeah, Doom 1 and 2 were fantastic, but what the fuck happened to Dakatana? He says nobody else would have asked him that, and that's sometimes I've watched or listened to interviews, people talking to people, and you know, you could have the best guest on in the world, but unless you ask interesting questions, I think it can be quite boring. I think you've got, and I'm not trying to play me up, but I ask the questions that I want personally to know the answer to. And I always try and I always try and think of questions that I think other people are going to want to know. Like why was Daikatana shit? And did they have hot tub parties with women and drugs? Cauldron and Stardust. It's just dawned on me that we're not talking about guitarists from Aerosmith. That's Joe Perry, not Dave Perry. um, yeah, there's Tony asking, what was your very first desktop PC which you used for gaming when you were a teenager? Well, sadly, Tony, it was 1995. I would be 28 years old, so I was long past being a teenager. My very first PC was, well, unless you called, I mean, PC is personal computer, so technically my Texas or my Commodore 64 would be a personal computer, but I know you mean a desktop PC, i.e., one with a graphics card and what have you. My first PC I think it was 550 meg hard disk. It had 4 meg of memory. It was a Pentium 60, and yeah, it cost me about £1,200. Yeah, and it was shit. Well, it was all right for a wee while until I couldn't run any games in Super VG. It was VG all the way, but yeah, it cost me an absolute fortune. And I remember one of my mates. We were at one mate. We were all watching a video, and this other mate came in. There was about 5 or 6 of us, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, I can get one of my mates is selling. He's got a 4 meg sim. If anyone wants to buy it, it's 250. I think it was 200 quid." And we were all arguing about who could buy it. It cost. It wasn't me. It ended up costing my mate 200 quid for 4 meg of memory, which is just mental. But anyway, uh, 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 yeah, Underdog Society 2.0. That's an interesting name. I 3D printed a Commodore 64 plate. Goes on my laptop. Nice one. 3D printing, it's not something I've ever thought about. It's not something that I think maybe when it becomes more mainstream, then it's maybe something that you would get into. But yeah, until you can actually 3D print a Steam Deck, then I'm not really interested. But yeah, I think for people that make or do repairs, making battery covers and what have you, it's an interesting thing. I mean, one of my mates, he's 3D printed quite a lot of stuff, and it is quite impressive. Ox is saying, do you remember the first game you ever loaded on your first computer and the first favourite game in that computer? I'm going to, my first computer, as you know, Ox, because you've been watching my channel for how long? Hang on, I'm just going to I'm going to put my legs up on my couch and just recline for a wee bit. Yeah, my first computer was the Texas, and I only had one game, and it was written in BASIC, and it was shit. And it was called Blitz, not Blitz Basic. It was called Blitz. If anybody can find that game, it was written in BASIC, BLITZ, Blitz, written in BASIC. Anybody could find that ROM online for me, I would be forever in your debt. I would love to play it again because that was the very, very first home computer game I ever played. I'm not, apart from like Pong. Yeah. So we're talking more about the Commodore 64. The first game I ever played, I'm not even got it here. It was Crazy Kong by Interceptor Software. And I remember even then loading it up and thinking, this is shit. It really, if you don't know what Crazy Kong by Interceptor Software is like, just go to YouTube and have a look for it. I think that was my second But let me have a quick look. Hang on. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it's a Friday waffle. I can do what I want. I can jump in and out of stuff. I wonder if we can show videos, views, date. There we go. There we go. Yep, my things. I did do a couple of other videos before I actually had a kind of YouTube channel. I did some random videos. I did one showing Dig Dug and Bomb Jack running on an iPad. I did an iCade and emulator video way back. I did a review of the iCade. Excuse me. There we go. My first ever video that I did was on the 9th of December 2013, and it was Shark, the second ever video that I've done, and it's got a whopping 280 views. I'm going to let you see it. I had to stream. It was Crazy Kong, just for shits and giggles. Let's watch this back. This was the second game, the first game that I ever loaded, ever bought on my Commodore 64. Let's watch it. Enjoy. Good evening, John. How are you, mate? Wait till you see this. And you explode. Anyway, yeah, that's Crazy Kong. Absolute shit. Right, enough of that. Fucking awful. Anyway, yeah, we've all got to start somewhere, I suppose. So yeah, that was it was Crazy Kong Ox. Hang on a second, I've just lost. I'm just trying to find out where I was. Yeah, Tony's saying there he's got the 1541 disk drive somewhere. It weighs a ton. Yeah, if I remember rightly, I'm sure the disk drive actually costs more than the computer. And it was an absolute bastard. It quite literally took two people to carry it. It was huge, and it was slow as shit as well. Ox is saying there the 1541 is the same size as the C64 and is a computer in its own right. Really? Holly's saying there, right, tell Dell's mum she needs a cup of tea as well. Yeah, if your mum's sticking the kettle on, Dell, I wouldn't mind. Just milk and mines, please. Calden saying there, water stage music in Mario 64 is the best in the game. Yeah, I just remember it was really, really nice. It was really nice. Mega, mega, what do you call it? Impressive. Oh, sorry, Tony. Part two. What games did I play on my Pentium 60? I think it was. I mean, the reason I bought my PC was to play Doom. I did. I think I actually said that. I think I mentioned that in my interview with John Romero. I saw Doom running on my mate's computer, and that was it. I've got to have one. Other games I liked. I've not got any nostalgia for PC games. It's weird. I mean, considering the PC was my mainstay, well, it wasn't my mainstay. It was my only gaming platform from about 95. No, probably more than that. 93, something like that. 93 until, I don't know, I got a PlayStation in 96. So yeah, I mean, for about 3 years, it was the only way I could play games. But I don't have any nostalgia for it. It's weird. Loved all the Command and Conquer games. Loved Doom, not Doom, Dune 2, though I think I played that in Amiga. I loved Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, just the Warcraft games. Loved all these. But yeah, it's weird. Don't have any nostalgia for the play for the PC. Excuse me. I mean, Colin Jones is saying there that we did motion control, right? Yeah, I remember to get the to use the, what do you call it? To use the some of the games like Wii Sports Resort, you had to get the extra little add-on. I could show you. You're not really bored about looking at what a Wii controller looks like. You know what it looks like. Yeah, there was a little add-on bit that came with it, and that kind of increased the sort of sensitivity. Excuse me. Motion control butt plugs. Yeah, I mean the what the hell was it? Was it the Xbox? Was it the Xbox? Yeah, it was the Xbox 360 had the I can't even remember the name of the damn thing. It had the motion controller camera thing, and that was the one where Peter Molyneux was bringing out a game, and you interacted with a small boy. Yeah, and for some weird reason, that never actually came out. Probably just as well. Good evening, Dave. Dave, saying here, off topic slightly, but I find myself on Warzone with DMZ, and it offers everything I ever wanted from what I wanted out of a C64. Sorry, Dave, I'm not quite with you. What is Warzone and with DMZ? I don't really know. Is that a game? Let me know, Dave. Yeah, if you could let me know, please. Grand Theft Auto 5 is almost a decade old. Seriously, it's 10 years old. Holy shit. That's my point about decreasing lack of progress over the time. You think of it as a new game because new games aren't that much advanced now. The thing is, I think we really need somebody to come along and make an original game. I've always argued that every game is a game like Berserk is the same as Call of Duty. You press up, you fire, you press left, you can fire, you move left, you move right. The only difference is the viewpoint. Every game is the same, left, right, and fire. There are so few original games. You know, I've got no interest in playing Call of Duty. I've got no interest in playing FIFA 23. My favourite, well, Sensible Soccer is by far and away the best football game ever released. If you want to go for a realistic kind of football game, I would probably say Pro Evolution on the PlayStation 2. That was the pinnacle for me. Never liked the FIFA games. Pro Evolution. You'll have to say, um, let me see if I can find it. I was telling a guy at work actually, he was talking about this. Uh, Right, is this right? I'm going to let you see this video. Thank you very much to. Oh, I'll put a wee link to the video. I'm going to share this. This is one of the this. If you're going to play a sort of semi-realistic football game, you need to play this. It is just batshit mental for reasons that will become clear. This is the SNES International Superstar Soccer, and you've got to play the Japanese one. This is just mental. Thank you very much to Long Plays for this. I'm going to put a wee link to their channel down below. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the... No. No, 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 no. We need to play. It's got to be the Japanese one. Got to be the Japanese one. Tell you what, never mind that. I'm just going to move that across there for a second, like so. And I'm going to hide that. By the way, thanks very, very much for people tuning in tonight. I mean, seriously, you should be watching, you should be spending time with your family and watching Christmas films, not this shite. Right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to load up my SNES emulator, and I'm going to let you see this game, because it is just epic. It really is epic with a capital E. SNES. Right, I'm just going to load up this game, which doesn't really matter what this is, and then I'm going to hopefully. Alright, load. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing here, but in fact, what I'll do is I'll share the screen. Da-da-da. Entire screen. There we go. Share audio. Bink. Right, what I want to do. Oh, there we go. Right, I want to go to that. And I want to go to my emulators. And I want to go to SNES. Now, absolutely need to International Superstar Soccer. And it's got to be the Japanese one. Oh, wait a minute. Can I type it? Hang on. International Superstar Soccer, is that? Europe, USA. Is that the Japanese one? I don't know if this is going to be the Japanese one or not. I don't think it is. It might have been called something different, actually. Nah, I don't think this is the Japanese one, sadly.
International Superstar Soccer Deluxe.
No, bollocks. Right. Does anybody know what it was called in Japan? It's definitely had a different name. Right. I'll come out if somebody can tell me what it was called in Japan. In fact, let me just have a quick wee squint. Emulator, Nintendo SNES. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. You know what? I'm just conscious. I don't think I've actually got. Have I got Japanese games in this? Yeah. Does anyone know what it's called? No sound, Alan. Why is that? I did share the sound. That was weird. Right. Anyway, listen. I'm kind of going off topic a wee bit. Yeah. Let's just come out of this. Stop screen, and then I'll move myself. Stop scratching my leg, and I'll move that over there again. Yeah, sorry, folks. Anyway, I can't remember why did I get onto the subject of talking about International Superstar Soccer. That's weird. That is bizarre. You're saying there's no sound. I distinctly put on sound. You saw that? I don't know. That's annoying me. That's really annoying. Why do they fuck about with StreamYard? Anyway, listen. I'm conscious. I'm conscious of the. I'm kind of rabbiting on. That's an hour and a half. So I'm going to get going shortly. I don't want to take up your night, and I want to go and watch a Christmas film. I'm not actually quite sure what to watch. it's a toss-up between Muppets Christmas Carol and I don't know. I'm going to have to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Right, listen, I'm going to let's have a quick look. Just before I finish off, yeah, nothing to do with video games. When I was a lad, in fact, let me just have a quick look, just in case there's any. Right, I don't see any questions. Yeah, when I was a lad, the first group that I got into was Madness, and then after a couple of months, I got to know about the Specials, and that was it. The Specials was the soundtrack to my early teenage years, from like high school, from sort of 12 years old right through, and even to this day, I still listen to the Specials. I got to see them. I've seen a lot of groups in concert. I've seen AC/DC, I've seen Metallica, I've seen, who have I seen? I've seen Guns N' Roses, I've seen, what do you call it? Tons of metal bands. I've seen Iron Maiden and all these different groups. I've even seen Jean-Michel Jarre, of all people. I've seen Bad Company. But I've seen Fish multiple times. But my favourite, the best experience I ever had at a concert was the Specials back in, it must be, you're probably talking about 10 years ago. It was at the, what do you call it, the SECC in Glasgow. And I remember I was meeting a mate there, and I was standing outside and seeing all these guys walking towards me with skinheads, with braces on, with like two-tone black and white Doc Martens, and it was like going back in time. And then we filed our way into the concert. Oh, J League Soccer! I'm going to have a quick. I will. Nah, listen, I'll leave it. I'm kind of going off on a tangent now. So, well, thank you very much, but I will try and do a video with that at some point. But thanks for that, Zach Paul. So anyway, went into the concert, and the Specials came on, and I knew every single word to every song, and I was dancing, and it was like it like somebody had turned the clock back, you know, 30 years. I was 12 years old again, and listening to Terry Hall singing all these classic songs. It was just absolutely phenomenal. I get actually quite emotional just thinking about it. Now, Terry Hall sadly passed away a couple of days ago. I was reading a tweet or an article by one of his, what do you call it? I was going to say teammates, band members, fellow band members, um, and he was saying that they apparently they had plans for, they'd booked a recording studio in Amsterdam in January. They were going to be laying out new tracks, and yeah, they had all these plans, had the flights booked, and then they got a telephone call from Terry Hall's wife to say that he wasn't well, he couldn't travel, and it turns out that he had diabetes. And then they then found out the next day, they found out that he was actually worse. He had gotten even worse, and it turns out that he had cancer. And they, they said it's not looking good. He's seriously ill, and then his wife phoned and says, "Look, he's not going to make it." And they says, "Look, if you want to say your goodbyes, you'll need to speak to him on the phone." And that's what they did. They spoke to him on the phone to say goodbye to him. And they said that, I mean, Terry Hall was one of these guys. He was like the epitome of cool. He really was. Apparently had a wicked sense of humour. And I've got it in good. I've got it in good sort of faith that apparently these guys were awesome guys. A couple of my mates met the Specials after a gig, and they said they were so down to earth. Lovely, lovely guys. But apparently, Terry didn't want anyone to know that he was ill. He just wanted to go, without any fuss. But I was very, very. I didn't quite cry, but I was very, very upset when my sister told me that he had passed away. So I'm going to now. I know this is going to give me a copyright strike, but I don't really care. I'm doing it live, so if this video does get taken down and nobody gets to see it, then I don't really care. You guys have been awesome watching this. I'm going to play out with one of my favourite special songs called Concrete Jungle. So listen, guys, I'm going to. Well, I will be along. I'm going to be along tomorrow night, 9:30 until whenever, with Lawn Boys Post 1975. We're going to be recollecting 12 of our fondest Christmas memories. So hopefully you can get along for that. So I'm just going to have a good night, guys. I am going to just finish off and leave you with this. This is Concrete Jungle by the Specials, and I'm going to disappear. Thank you very much, guys. So a quick one, guys. Please let me know. Please let me know if you can hear this all right.
I'm going out tonight. I don't know if I'll be alright. Everyone wants to play me. Baby, danger in the city. I have to carry a knife because people threaten my life. Can't dress just the way I want. I've been chased by the metro. Concrete jungle, animals are after me. Concrete jungle, ain't safe on the streets. Concrete jungle, right up my mace with me. I won't fight for a cause. I don't want to change the law. Leave me alone, just leave me alone. I wanna get out on my own. And I'm walking home tonight. I only walk where there's lots of lights. In the alleys, in the doorways. Some follow in your face. Concrete jungle, animals are after me. Concrete jungle, ain't safe on the streets. Concrete jungle, right up my mace with me. I'm going out tonight. I only walk where there's lots of lights. In the alleys and the doorways. I'm going to follow straight at your face. I won't fight for a cause. I don't want to change the law. Leave me alone, just leave me alone.